Men, at what age did you think you really matured and grew up? If you think you're finished, you're not done. 35-ish, started asking the hard questions of myself and hated the answers. I don't think you mature by age. You mature by experience and everything that has happened in your life, I guess. Heartbreak in late 20s. Packed in my dead-end job. Moved. Went back to college for a 2-year course at age 30. Started new career age 32. At the same time met my wife. 8 years later we have our own home and 2 beautiful children. If you talk to me age 28-29 I would have had a very bleak outlook on my future. So I suppose being at my lowest point embed me to start again and eventually become someone I was more proud of. Edit enabled me not embed. Big changes at 23, 25, 30, 33, and 40 so far. I'm 61. Still waiting. The biggest change for me was actually 18 years old when I was thrown out the house. I quickly had to learn how pay bills, council tax, and how to apply for somewhere to live. It makes you mature quicker when your family completely disowns you. But I'm not done yet. Next on the list is how to switch jobs and potentially go back to school. 26 when my son was born. Instant transformation. I think around 35, but now at 40 I still relapse into an immature idiot. 58 and not yet, but I hope soon lol. I realized that maturity and growing up usually happens when men are faced with great challenges. My grandfather was matured at 18. He married at 24 and had a son by 26. My father got a job at 26. Got married at 28 and was a father by 32. I on the other hand got a job at 28 and I'm not married or have a kid. I had a pretty sheltered life and I'm 31 and I'm just realizing that I'm matured enough to take on responsibility. So, I think a guy's maturity depends on the responsibility he had. I'm 25. I moved out when I was 22. Moved to a city I knew nobody in. Got my first full-time career job. Had to pay all of my bills. Bought a house and car. Starting investing into my retirement and putting money away. The list goes on. The difference between me at 21 and 22 was astounding. I've not fully grown up, but I think for most people moving out and becoming completely independent is when you'll feel you've grown the most. It certainly was for me. 13. I had to start raising my brother and sister while my parents work evenings. I wish I had a young and dumb phase. Late 20s I stopped acting like an utter CNT. I'm still waiting. But on a serious note, probably late 30s. Never. And never will be. There are some who say I had the soul of an old man when I was in grade school. Others say that I'm still not mature or grown up at the age of 72. Man shrugging, medium light skin tone. 32 now. And I've got a partner, house and a dog. My man-child still wants to pull me back in on a daily basis though. You always know if you're mature only in retrospective. You always consider yourself mature, but only much later you realize if you actually were mature or not. I started to settle down and work on my future at 25 and I had my shit figured out by 30. Now by mid-30s I'm entering a whole other phase of financial independence and building some wealth. Hopefully more good stuff to come. According to my wife, when I turned 25 it was like flipping a light switch. It actually depends on the amount of responsibility on man's shoulder. The higher the responsibilities, the greater the chances of man acting mature. Not to forget, all men have a hidden child among them, which comes out with his closest of the closest friends. I'm 57 now, so hopefully soon. I didn't realize it, but an OG of mine pointed it out and said that's the moment I became a man. I had an ex who I was madly in love with, but the feelings weren't mutual. She basically didn't want to be with me anymore. Read try new dick, but didn't want to break up, so she wanted a relationship break. I told her no and asked her if she was 100 committed to a future with me. She said no and I broke up with her. Apparently that's the moment I matured, grew up, and became a man. 24 and I don't intend to stop. I'm 27 RN and I feel as though things are changing. I don't know if I'll ever fully mature, but I'm pretty sure something's changed over the last couple years. Penis. I would say around 16. When my brother passed away, it was a shock to my system of the reality that we all one day will die. He was meant to have a full life, just like all of us. Yet, he never got the chance to fully live and appreciate it. I felt like my innocence of living a carefree existence ended there and began a new perspective of just doing my best to survive. Probably when I'm 69 years old. 15. For some reason I was always ahead of my friends and people I knew that were similar age. At 17 I got into my first relationship and it lasted for 4 years. I got dumped and cheated on. Then I realized I have a lot more growing up to do. Which is when I started looking really deeply into my inner self, my traumas and patterns. Right now I'm 24. And I'm far ahead most of the people around my ages. Which is a good and a bad thing since to them I am boring. Though many older women find me attractive when they get to know me. But I've never had a casual hookup with anyone. I'm looking for a serious relationship. 8. When I started my career at 28, married and kid at 30, felt financially secure 40-ish. Now helping my aging parents 50s. I have felt different things at different ages and stages of my life. I started pretending to be an adult at about 20 but actually believed I was at about 25. I'm 51 now and still learning. 25. 45 years. Still waiting. I'm 35 and I will never grow up and be mature. I honestly do not take life seriously at all. I do all the adult things like go to work and pay bills. But beyond that, fuck it. I'm in this game against my will, so I'm gonna do it my way. And if being goofy and laughing at fart jokes ain't how others think I should play it, well, they can kiss my ass. Ain't no one getting out of this bitch alive, so have a good time. Edit to add, what do you think mature means? We're supposed to mature? 13 but emotionally matured this year 21. Biggest change at 17. After that I've had minor bug fixes and new updates, but that year literally made me grow up. 30 has been the age with the most impact in my life. I am 35, and my friends who are under 30 still think in the most immature. I'll let you know. Just like roadworks, it's a constant work in progress. At 18 I moved in with my brother. He was overseas attending university. I quickly realized he had not even completed his first year at university, was fully addicted to drugs and smoking weed, never left the house. My parents never knew and I didn't tell them because it would have destroyed them. I was on my own in a country I've never been to before, different culture, and the person who's supposed to guide me needed guidance himself. I grew up very quickly and the roles reversed of me, trying to get him out his self-destructive phase so he didn't get to enjoy anything. From 1823 I was kicked into maturity. Probably 16. I came from a totally dysfunctional family with an abusive alcoholic gambling father. I had to moderate the constant fighting between my parents. It sucked. Childhood? Never really had one. I'm 28 and I still don't believe I grew up. Maybe I never will. Feel like it. Cold sweat smile.